Okay, I think I have this going on here. Yes, I do. So I woke up and I was thinking today that, okay, so how do I put this? I'm just making notes. I'm going to post this on YouTube. I don't really care right now if it's disorganized. I just need to get it out there right now. And then later on, I can organize it and create models and do all that fancy stuff. But right now, I just need to get it out there, get the dialogue started. So I just began an initiation in studying Sam Vaknin's dual mother model and studying his student Richard Grannon, who both have talked about why we enter into narcissistic relationships or toxic relationships. I think they're particularly looking at NPD, but and what Sam Vaknin is saying, and Richard Grannon is helping to um, bring out into the world, is that when we are attracted to narcissists, we are a codependent. And I'm not well studied in this. I'm just starting to study in this, but I think it's groundbreaking. This is groundbreaking because, and I've always knew that the individuation process was integrally intertwined with personality disorders, but I didn't really know how. And it's so cool that these two are like forerunning this new frontier in understanding personality disorders and understanding trauma, complex trauma. So they talk about how it's way complex, and I'm just making a note of this. I'm just gonna post this, make a note, not even. I'll maybe just anyway. So the two individuals who come from a traumatic background often develop some form of cluster B personality. And most of the time with cluster B personalities, it's all overlapping. It's like a borderline can have narcissistic traits. A narcissist can have antisocial traits. Narcissist can be malignant, or it can be a vulnerable narcissist. It's all kind of intertwined but the differentiation between narcissism and borderline are based on the attachment style, I think. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not well studied in this yet. I just want to put this out there and start a dialogue and get it out there. But the two individuals are traumatized, and they basically, with Sam Vaknin's model, from what I've been researching, I don't even know, I haven't studied it enough to know and elaborate, but I know enough to say that it has to do with the fact that the child in the first few years of life, usually between 0 and 6, underwent severe neglect, severe abuse, and it formed in the personality a merger with the mother, and it interjected the child with them as a bad object. It's very complicated. It has to deal with object relations, but the individual has not separated from the mother psychologically, and as such, the personality has not grown, it hasn't matured, and this is two people. When you're in a narcissistic relationship, it's two people involved. There is no victim. Both people, and it's not anybody's fault. It's your responsibility to heal. So the two people they get trauma bonded through their attachment styles, which are insecure, because it is an unconscious initiatory motivation to individuate, basically separate from the mother. So the reason why we keep going into these relationships is because unconsciously we are needing to separate. So, when you go into these relationships with two people who have been traumatized, who often have some form or level of cluster B personality and has some form of severe trauma, the person has not differentiated yet. The empathy is broken, and or not even there. Empathy is absent in the antisocial personality. In narcissism and borderline, there's hope, because depending on where you are in the spectrum, you still have a capacity for empathy. You have a capacity still for compassion, to heal. If you're too far gone into NPD, sometimes the false self, there's no way of breaking that barrier into the authentic self, because the false self is so strong, and the collapse would mean a death. And it is a death when our psyches collapse into the mysterium coniunctionis. We have to enter into almost a archetypally schizophrenic realm. And it can consume you. And it can do that. But anyway, the two people, they want to merge. They're not two independent, individuated people going and sharing a consciousness together. They're immature people who have not separated from the image of the mother, from the archetype of the mother figure. They just don't know that yet. They think they're differentiated. Our culture says they're differentiated. I'm an individual, so I'm differentiated. No. Individualism is not the same as individuation. Individuation is our ability to move inward and seek our soothing and seek a relationship with our truest, highest self, which is only in the realm of the mysterium coniunctionis. We have to get through the shadows first. We have to see the shadows of our soul, and I'm losing my train of thought. That's okay. But we have to go into a collapse. We have to eliminate that false image. And is that false image and that desire to fuse with our partner and to devalue them in order to have this kind of false pseudo individuation process happening. And I'm going to go into this way more. I'm going to study it more. But the people, they are unconsciously merging in order to, they go into this state that Sam Vaknin calls, he's a genius. They go into a state of co-idealization and shared fantasy. And that needs to be broken in order for those individuals to individuate. And depending on what spectrum of personality disorder you have, there may be no hope for the person. If you become aware and you can take the responsibility for your consciousness, your responsibility for your place in the grand scheme of the world, and your part in the play of humanity, there's hope. But you have to go inward. There has to be an internal locus of control. There has to be an ability to control impulses, which most cluster Bs it's the problem with cluster Bs is a relationship dysfunction that has ripped that person away from their individuation process. As such, let's see if I can pull this up really quick. As such, when we enter into a narcissistic relationship, a toxic relationship, a merging, unhealthy, fusing relationship, where both parties are parasiting each other, there's a shared fantasy, there's processes of idealization and devaluing. All of these things are a call to action. And it is initiated, so it's an unconscious, when we enter into these relationships, it's an unconscious initiation into the hero's journey, into the individuation process. It is a call to action. And when we continue the process of co-idealization and shared fantasy, which I'm going to study more and elaborate more in my stuff, because it's just genius work, it's forerunning, we refuse the call. And as such, we get stuck here. We're refusing the call, and we never heal. We never go into the underworld, into the mysterium tremendum et fascinans. We never go into the dark shadow of the soul. We keep ourselves here in the ordinary world, where there's a false sense of safety with our false self, because it's protecting us because what happens when we separate from the mother? We collapse, we die, and we do have to die. So when we're dealing with cluster B personalities and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and we're dealing with toxic relationships, we're dealing with a call to adventure into the realm of the mysterium unconscious, the unconscious, unknown realm of our unconscious mind. We're being forced to go into the underworld, face the shadows, to meet with the ordeal and move back into the world a new and transmuted, alchemized soul. And so the purpose of these narcissistic relationships are important. And it's not our fault it is not anybody's fault. If we have narcissism, we have borderline, if you have antisocial personality, it's not your fault. There is a genetic predisposition, and then it is strongly tied to trauma, and I'm talking horrific trauma. And there is a major merger psychologically with the need to externalize all resources to gain self-worth, self-esteem, a sense of love, because we don't have a sense of lovableness. The clusters Bs are struggling with that, and it's a relational dysfunction. And so when we keep entering into these toxic narcissistic relationships, we are getting a call to adventure. If we do not separate, it is our job to separate. It is our responsibility to separate and move into the direction toward crossing that threshold of our consciousness into the realms of the unconscious. And as such, individuating, which means facing the unknown of our psyches and moving it toward our conscious realms. That is individuation in a nutshell. It's becoming, allowing the unconscious mind to become conscious. And that is the hero's journey. And taking that wisdom, and then transmuting it into helping heal humanity. What I say the other day, when we embrace the courage to be who we authentically are in the world, and we have the intentions to help it heal humanity, we become heroes, and we are able to find our purpose, our mission. But our mission here, I think, on this planet, is to heal the collective through our individuation processes that are individual. Anyway, I'm going to be talking more about this and elaborating. I'm going to be studying a lot. And so I woke up this morning and thought, I'm just going to put this out there, I don't want to be stepping on any toes. I haven't researched enough into this. I don't know. But this is some of the thoughts that I'm having, that I'm inspired in understanding the dynamics of very complex relationships that often become like an entity of themselves. We don't have control over it. We don't have control over what's happening to that relationship. It becomes this toxic bowl mess of unconscious projections, onto the other person, and introjections. It's so complex, but it's nobody's fault. It's from a stifled call to adventure. It's a stifled it's from the being thwarted from the individuation process. It's the maintaining of external locus of control. You are going to give me my self-worth. You're going to give me praise. You're going to make me feel good about myself. You're going to make me feel safe in the world. There is no safety in the world. Well, I just want to say it. Whoa, getting a little nihilistic. No, but there is no, the safety has to come from within ourselves, in connection to our higher self. And I'll be talking more about that. Anyway, that's some of my thoughts this morning. And I will post this and Like I said, this is just going to be kind of a disorganized mess until I get organized. But I think it's important. I'll just get my thoughts out there anyway. All right, that's it.